Hello, and welcome to an impromptu information requested. This is remixed. I know it's been a couple years. Um, I didn't ask BAMP permission to post onto his channel. This is one of those ask for forgiveness situations. Um, yeah, I just wanted to give my thoughts on the animatic the same day that I watched it. I just got back from the premiere. It's been a very long day of traveling and going to the meet and greet at the beginning of the day. There were so many fans, really cool cosplays. I saw a really cool Zeal. I saw Lyndon in his full Dread God outfit. I even have a piece of the Dragon Descends in my room right now that Sam gave to me, which I think was given to him by the Lyndon cosplayer. Um, yeah, I'll try not to ramble too much. This is going to be a pretty short, not really a podcast episode. But man, what a cool thing that happened today. Just the culmination of so many people coming together, the funding from the fans, the Hidden Gnome team, Jay, uh, everybody involved with just turning this into something incredible beyond a book series that we all love so much. And beyond the content of the animatic itself, just wow. Um, Honestly, just what an experience. Um, so yeah, I just figured I'd go through my thoughts on the animatic, on top of like the events building up to the animatic. Um, Maybe go over the event for those of you that weren't able to attend. Um, Pretty cool. It was at the Alex Theater um, in Grandview, California. Really cool old theater. I think it's their 100th year anniversary this weekend. So just another cool thing to be a part of. Um, I don't know how many people were there. There were definitely hundreds of people, maybe over 1,000 people. It's hard to tell. I showed up to the event around, I think, 1 p.m., slightly before 1 p.m., and they let us in. Um, Shout out to Sam for getting me in the event in the first place. I backed at the wrong uh, tier, so I accidentally did not get a ticket, and Sam was super cool about it and still let me come, so shout out to him. So yeah, just lots of people cosplaying. There was food, drinks, and all that, which was awesome. Got to take some pictures with Will and Jay and Sam and some of the cool cosplayer stuff that was going on. I really hit it off with a group of people, uh, one of which was playing, or not playing, cosplaying as Mercy. She had a little Sue. That was so cool. And I won't out names here because I don't know who wants to be um, talked about and not, but it was really cool hanging out with you guys. Um, Thanks for letting me sit with you near the front of the theater. That was really cool. So yeah, the event was awesome. It was basically just a meet and greet for a few hours, and then the premiere happened. The premiere was of the animatic. The sound was mixed specifically for the theater, so that was awesome. And it was kind of like a um, condensed version of the events that took place in Unsold and um, Soulsmith. Sorry, it's late. My brain is fried. Um, Man, it was just so cool. As far as the content of the animatic goes, some things that you might want to know. It's of course it's not one to one to the books. There were time constraints on how much content can you get into an hour and a half. Um, the team specifically said that they wanted to get to Athen as fast as possible. Um, I think with the budget in mind, um, with the timeline in mind, with how long they wanted it to be, with the idea that we're pitching it to studios, I think they did such a killer job. Um, I'll go over the specific things that are missing from the animatic at the end, so that way you don't have to worry about spoilers. Um, but man, the voice acting so good, the sound so good. Um, the art was, storyboarded visuals, so some of it was clearly uh, done uh, as a, sort of a transitory piece, and other artwork was pretty well fleshed out. Um, a lot of what you see in the trailer is in there, but it's in its animatic form, and some of it you see is very obviously not true to the character design, which you see some stuff on Reddit complaining about, and it just kind of doesn't make sense to me that people would complain about that because it's been so clear that this is an animatic from the beginning. Animatics are storyboards. We care about character actions and telling the story more so than the character designs themselves. If this were the full animation, it would look like what we see in the trailer. Um, so yeah, I give it an A plus plus. There was a standing ovation. It was really cool getting to see my name on at the end of the credits alongside the other Kickstarter backers. It just feels like um, we have such a rare community to be able um, to have such an amazing author and team around that author. Most of which is family, but still there's other people around the author too that aren't family. Just Will and the team just knock it out of the park. They have such a good ear for what the fans actually want, um, and I don't know if they know how rare that is in an author or any sort of fandom where the fandom is in close communication with the creator. It just feels so modern and so lean compared to some like big, huge organizations that you might see in other places. And no shade to those big authors at all. If they're, it's just I think it's incredible, and I think it's even harder to do than Will and the team make it look. So, just a huge kudos. So now, yeah, I'll go into spoilers here. I'll talk about some of the differences in the animatic. I'll talk about some criticisms I have of choices that were made, and I fully expect there to be a good reason behind some of these criticisms I have, but they're just going to be out in the open, and uh, yeah, it's not definitely not trying to dig at the team or anything like that. Just some choices that maybe I would have made differently, and maybe I wouldn't have if I had all the context, because I certainly don't. So the animatic kind of opens in a way that we're pretty familiar with. It's the bowl and the water. Does the water change shape, etc., etc. We get that. Um, there's a lot of characters missing from this opening sequence where it's not so obvious, um, like exactly like if I hadn't known what was going on already, it might have been a very confusing opening scene. It felt a little rushed, and that's probably my main criticism of all of the unsold portion is that it felt a little too fast. Um, but as I said before, I know that the time budgeting was critical here, and if you had to make something fast, Unsold or Soulsmith, then I agree with the choice to make Unsold the faster thing. So I'm not really super critical of this from the perspective of a fan that already knows what's going on, but for somebody that's never heard of Cradle, this scene might be more confusing. And that's kind of in line with a lot of my criticisms is if you have not read the series, you'll get lost pretty quick with the animatic the way it is right now. And yeah, that's kind of my main big point of contention here, and maybe that's uh, maybe that's a decision they made on purpose. I'm sure it is even. So next is uh, the scene where Lyndon is defeating all of the 8-year-olds. There's not much in the way of setup to the actual tournament. Not as much as I would have liked to see. The training with Kelsa was kind of glossed over. The designing of the empty palm was kind of glossed over. Um, and then the first big thing I didn't like for real was the Abaddon stuff with Serial. It um, it felt like a lot of big things were missing there. Like her explanation of fate was in there, but it was kind of like half explained, as opposed to like Lyndon basically just got it instead of there being kind of like a conversation about seeing the future. That felt a little off to me, like they were just trying to get through it. Maybe like it was necessary to be in the scene, but not so necessary that they wanted to actually have a full explanation from Serial. And I'd say like I want to say like 60 to 50% of the content from the book where Serial shows Lyndon what's going on was largely cut out, like Lyndon being super afraid, especially in the scene with Northstrider. The scene with Northstrider was on top of the ocean instead of under the ocean, but how would you show that in an animatic? Like in an animation, maybe not as hard, but in a black and white animatic, I understand that choice. Um, Maybe there's a way to do it, but yeah. North Strider also comes off a little bit more bearish than I imagined in my head, and maybe that's just uh, a remixed problem, not a story problem. But he's a lot more bulky than I imagined him, and even though he has the strength icon, I always kind of imagined him as like this semi wizard, like uh, I don't know, like very tall, not lanky, like very strongly built, but not like a Kura Pride kind of style build, which this looked more like a Nordic Akura Pride in my opinion. So yeah, it wasn't exactly thrilled with the North Strider design from this from the animatic, but it wasn't like a deal breaker for me or anything. Just one more point of contention, and then there was one more thing. Uh, I liked the 8-Man Empire scene that because it showed exactly what we saw in the book pretty much. Just uh, there wasn't too much going on there. Shamiara was there and that was fine. Uh, just I think I wanted 10 more seconds of Abaddon content in that scene with Serial, and it probably wouldn't be something that I would mention or complain about. Maybe the North Strider thing. Um, let's see what's next. Then we go to probably the thing um, I disliked it, but I also understand with the time goal in mind for sure. Is there's basically the Lyndon's path to get to Yaren was completely cut. So there's no getting into the Heaven's Glory School, uh, getting up to the top of the stairs in his cheating way, which really makes it hard to paint Lyndon as much of his ugh, as much as of a schemer and a planner. Um, their choice was not something I disagree with, though. Uh, if you have to cut a big portion of the content out, how much of the Heaven's Glory stuff actually matters? And when I really think about it, not really. Not really much. A lot of that is relationship building with Lyndon. Uh, Building the relationship for the payoff in book 9, which, if you're trying to pitch this to a studio saying, oh, this will happen in the ninth movie when he comes back, that's like, why? So yeah, you might be wondering how does he get Little Blue? How does he get the Thousand Mile Cloud? How does Elder Whitehall cause him to split his core? All of those things had to be rearranged, and I was happy with the way that they did it. I don't want to go into a breakdown of how they changed the story. I'll let that be a surprise for you guys that haven't seen the animatic yet. But I think that they did a good job. Um, and would I like to see the original story played out? Of course. But if they had to make a cut, in a substantially large cut, that's the best place to do it, in my opinion. So I think that they did a fine job. Also, uh, the Sword Sage's Remnant fight was great. The issue I had was with um, the explanation of the gold advancement seemed a little off to me. I'm not sure what I would do to fix it though. But it just seemed there was like a matter of fact statement that came from Yeren after she absorbed the remnant and became a gold practitioner. Uh, I think there could have been a better way to do it. Maybe there wasn't. So I'll leave that there. So then we go to we pretty much are done there with Unsouled, and we go into Soulsmith. I have far fewer criticisms of Soulsmith. Uh, it definitely has still been shortened, but nothing of substance was really cut from Soulsmith. Um, there were characters that were combined. Crawl basically had to play a lot more Sand Viper roles than the original. Um, Ethan was perfect. The voice acting, by the way, if I haven't mentioned it yet, wow, just so good. Every single character just so good. Especially knowing that Yaren's voice actor, and I'm so sorry I can't remember her name right now. I think maybe it was Roxy. No, I can't remember. Uh, wow, if that's her first voice acting gig, insane. Travis, beautiful as Ethan. The scenes with Ethan, just great. Came off exactly as I would want him to. I saw a funny complaint saying, uh, there's the YouTube clip where Ethan's introduced and the marble is seen in Lyndon's pack instead of in his pocket, and the top comment is like literally unwatchable, and it's obviously sarcasm. I just thought that was funny. Um, yeah, I don't want to go into too many spoilers. I'll say that I agreed with every cut that was made for Soulsmith. I had more problems with Unsouled than I did Soulsmith for sure. Um, the end of Soulsmith, how they end it, beautiful. The bloopers were great. Um, yeah, just an amazing experience. I can't wait for everybody to see the animatic. Um, if you have any disagreements with my thoughts on the unsold portion of the animatic, please let me know. I'd love to have a discussion about that. If you are unhappy with my criticism, that's totally fine. You can tell me you hate me. It's even possible that Bamfius decides he didn't want this video on his channel, but hopefully he'll keep it up. I've posted before without his permission, and he seemed fine with it. But yeah, I hope you guys have a great time. It was so great meeting everybody. I can't wait to go to another event. Thanks again. And I really hope we can get back to doing the information requested podcast soon, guys. Life has gotten in the way. I actually just lost my job again. Super unfortunate. Family's doing great, though. I hope you guys are all doing great as well. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one, and hopefully soon.